Hello, hello, hello. It's 2.5 months post-op this time, so we're jumping ahead a little bit in time, which is cool, different. I'm not eating all foods, but I'm eating what I can, and the pandemic's also hit, which is really unique and strange and funky, and it just kind of put a spanner in the works with the tiny little tail end of a whole procedure for me. The fact that all of a sudden I couldn't see my orthodontist or my surgeon or my dentist or anyone really. In terms of 2022, one thing I have noticed, y'all, is, why did I say y'all? I don't know, but we'll run with it. This tooth right here is moving. It is moving, and I don't think it's moving in the best way. It's opening up. There's more of a gap there. It's gone up. You can see it's not so much of a straight line anymore. Doesn't really bug me, just minorly bugs me. And I feel like what's happening with my retainer is actually causing that to happen. I don't know if I can be bothered doing anything about it, but it's interesting. Noted. And let's cut to the video. I have legitimately been meaning to do a video for probably 3 weeks now. We have passed the 2-month mark, but because February is a weird month, I don't know how many months you want to say it is, but technically speaking, let's go with 2 months, 2 weeks, 5 days. I feel pretty good. Physically, going around my day-to-day, I'm like 100% recovered, back to normal. Pretty much entirely forgotten that I even had surgery. Just feel so normal that I've forgotten, which is great. But I still am numb on my chin, and it feels weird on my chin and my bottom lip still. But everywhere else, I'd say I'm, let's say 90% recovered everywhere else. It's still a tiny bit odd there, but like nothing compared to 1 month, I think. It's weird when I like touch this part of my face. I think I can feel the plates, but that might just me being like, oh yeah, I think I feel something. It's not bone, it's plate. I don't know. The other thing is my lips sit better now. When I'm talking, when I'm eating, when I'm literally just like sitting and listening, and it's like then it's just everything isn't a strain. Everything's very relaxed. Just go where it's supposed to go, and it's just normal and magical. It's easier to breathe because my nose is bigger. It's easier to sleep because my nose is bigger. It's easier to see my nose because it's bigger. I'm not too like fussed about it so much anymore. The only thing that's weird is like my side profile to me still, which is ironic because I feel like that's what most people like the change of when they have this kind of surgery. Like it's generally fixing aesthetically, because you don't do this surgery just for aesthetic reasons. I mean, some people do, but like aesthetically, generally the side profile is improved. And it's interesting that that's like the one thing that I'm kind of like, not too sure about that. You know what I'm saying? Okay, eating. Eating is an interesting one because I feel like I might be ahead of the game, but I don't know. And it's kind of weird because like mum, I think, is like completely forgotten that like I had surgery, and she's like, why can't you eat like steak right now? You know, like you should be up to that now, shouldn't you? Like what's going on? Do we need to see a surgeon? And I'm like, well, bro, it's been like under 3 months. My bones aren't even completely healed, alright? But I'm eating almost everything. Everything. I ain't going about it as though I'm not tippy-toeing into this thing. I mean, I am. But like potato chips, I eat those. That's kind of uncomfortable. That's the best way I can describe it. It's sort of like you put it in your mouth, and rather than just like being it feels like this big sharp thing in your mouth, and you're like, how am I gonna navigate this? And things just don't work as well as you experience them working prior to surgery. I mean, it depends on where your jaw was sitting prior to surgery. It's really hard because we got short-term memory, and I remember it being difficult, but I can't remember how much more difficult it was. But I've already become like completely accustomed to just like biting into things front on, and like bread and sandwiches and wraps, and I forget that I actually couldn't eat them beforehand. It wasn't even a situation of like, let's try. It was literally I couldn't do it, and I can now. So I think it definitely has improved heaps. I just have really short-term memory, and I'm like expecting it to be amazing, and it kind of is. But wraps, potato chips, I even had a bit of steak. I've had a little bit of red meat. I chop it up into tiny pieces, and then I do like a couple bites, it goes down. I find after literally 2 or 3 pieces, I'm like exhausted. My jaw's just like, all right, we gotta have a break. We ain't doing this anymore. But like, that's fine. There are so many other foods you can eat. Like, it's not an issue. It's just I'm slowly getting back into it. And I think the fact that I'm even eating steak at the moment is like a really good sign that shit's going along just fine, if you get my gist. I noticed I ate my dinner really quickly last night. It was this noodle stir fry with a bunch of vegetables and little pieces of chicken, and I ate it really quickly. I mean, I was hungry, but I was actually able to down that baby really fast. Like, as fast as the people who were around me eating it, which was just my family, because we are in isolation. That's another point that I need to make. COVID has struck the world. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on, and I am in a really good position. I guess that the only thing I'm really worried about is not going out and getting infected with this thing, but also my whole teeth thing be slowing down, which shouldn't be too much of an issue. Just might mean that I have braces for longer, and if that's the worst thing that happens, that's a pretty good bad thing to happen in this circumstance. But I couldn't see my surgeon the other week. They cancelled my appointment because it wasn't deemed essential. It was just like a checkup to see how I'm going, and I'm not too concerned about that because I didn't have any questions for him. But it is an interesting sign of the times, and if I had my surgery 4 weeks later, I would not be okay right now. I'd want to see my surgeon, and I'd want to have my regular appointments where he like checks in, because after you have this thing, everything that is like happening to you, you just want to be reassured that it's okay. Because, you know, you might be coughing up blood, you might have like bone exposed in your face, you might have issues chewing, all this random stuff that you're like, and you just need someone to tell you it's okay. That's like the surgeon that did this thing to you. It's not too much of an issue for me, but I definitely would be feeling very different if I had my surgery literally 4 weeks later. So I like scraped it in, man. The other thing is I can't see my orthodontist anymore either. I had my last appointment with him, I think last week. They called me in to come in a day earlier because they said that the day I had my appointment scheduled, they were actually shutting down inevitably for like a temporary but very long period of time. My next appointment is scheduled for June 11th, I think, and it's currently April 5th, and they were like, if that gets cancelled, we'll let you know a week beforehand. So can't see my orthodontist, can't see my surgeon, also can't see my dentist. One thing I've noticed, I gotta check if it's just like nerves coming back or something's weird, but basically when I brush my teeth now, it hurts. Particularly the teeth at the back, like my very back molars and the gums surrounding it. And when I brush my teeth there, it's really uncomfortable and kind of, I guess, aches like when you have like a freeze on your teeth from biting a icy pole, or when you have a hole in your tooth, if you've ever, like me, had a hole in your tooth. About a month ago, this started happening, and it was just on the one side up the top. And at first I thought, oh shit, I've got a hole. I booked an appointment to see my dentist, and he wasn't available for a month. So basically by the time that appointment came around, it had to be cancelled because of COVID. Since then, it's like stopped hurting, and then this one hurts, and then that stops hurting, and then this one hurts. I've basically been thinking to myself, that doesn't happen if it's a hole. I'm thinking it might be to do with my gums coming back to life, and if it is, Are they meant to come back to life like that? Is it meant to hurt? Is it gonna go away? I don't know. I might look up on the jaw surgery support group that I'm in, Facebook, search hurting to brush teeth after surgery. Is this normal? Does it go away? That group is actually great if you can't like get in touch with your surgeon straight away and you just want to calm your nerves. There's hundreds if not thousands of people that have gone through this surgery and will have had similar experiences to you and different experiences, so I'll do that later. The other thing is I've got these bands on either side and they're supposed to bring the teeth together. I don't know exactly how it happens, but I assume it's like there's a lady just walking past you, give me a look. Basically, they just, I think they make my bite come together better, which is needed, and it's working. My orthodontist actually told me I didn't need it on this side anymore, and he took it off and he was like, I'm not seeing you for 3 months. If you see it opening up again, you can put it back on. And I don't know, I just feel as though it's not entirely together yet, so I'm putting them on both at the moment because I don't think there's much harm in having it. Like, it's just gonna pull them together, and once they're together, then that's it. That's what I've got there. It sometimes still hurts when I eat. Every now and again I get like, I'll bite into something and it'll be like, kind of like sharp pains, pinchy pains, dabs, dibs, jobs, whoops. It just kind of, it's not back to normal 100%. As for the life right now, it's indoors. Everything's online, so I don't really go outside ever, apart from exercise when I walk around the block. No, I'm not that lazy, but we're not allowed to go that far. My smile, I think, is getting a little bit better again. I'm adjusting to the look, the aesthetic differences. I'm gonna sawn out. Ciao though. I should also note that the reason I am literally looking like an Eskimo inside my house is, one, because it's bloody freezing right now, but two, I am about to go outside, so I'm not entirely strange. It's just you're catching me when I'm about to embark on the outdoors. All those things, fun fancy things, we know what the fun fancy things are. They're subscribing to the channel, they're liking the video, they're commenting down below. I genuinely love hearing whether you guys like the videos or not and how they're helping you out, or if you're not liking them, you know, you can also, nah, don't do that. Yeah, just let me know where you're at in your own journey, if you're thinking about getting jaw surgery, or if you've got it, or if you're recovering, whatever the situation is for you. I'd love to hear about it, and I will see you next time.